Okay, so convergence method is just a label. It's a label for the re-emergence, which is very accurate, of the feminine energy flow. And I see it popping up all over the place, like around the globe and in different ways. And it has many different names for it. They call it earth energy, sensual energy, core energy, creative energy, sexual energy, feminine energy, divine feminine. I mean, there's all these different labels that essentially are meaning the same thing, or they're just different little aspects of the same root fundamental. And for us, the root fundamental is the reemergence of this feminine energy flow. And I'm actually just going to bring in Mr. Flip Chart and illustrate it this way. Okay, I'm just going to move this like so. Is it black? Yeah, there we are. I have a little tablet computer and I'm moving an awful lot of data through this thing, so I actually have a little fan right here to kind of keep it as cool as I can. So no fires, we're good. So this is you. Oh, you know what, I'm going to take these off just so they're not clicking and clacking all over everything. Actually, I got this, did a Reiki treatment the other day, and I got this really cool bracelet that she made for you. Very nice. Okay, let's go back. So I think probably all of you that are watching this are going to have at least some familiarity with energy centers in our bodies called chakras. And I'm going to just do a really quick layout of them. So again, I'm going to approach this from the assumption that you have at least some understanding of what chakras are, and that will be just fine. There are 7 main ones. They basically, if you wanted to give them a physical reference point, they go kind of right down your spine. They're numbered 1, 2, where am I at here? 3, 4, 5. I'll go through this piece fairly quickly. 7. They all have names, right? I'll go through them really, really quickly. And then what I want to do is give a little bit of an illustration of what this feminine energy is, how it flows, and one of the most common areas that it gets blocked or restricted in our physical body. Let me think. I'm going to do this, do this. So really quickly, the first chakra, root chakra, is right in the base of our tailbone. The second chakra, or the sacral chakra, which is what we're going to talk about, is right in your lower lumbar. The solar plexus is kind of your stomach, so that's 3. 4 is your heart. 5, which is opening up in me right now, is in the throat. The 6th is your brow chakra. That's been really ramping up for a lot of folks lately. One of the reasons that you're sleeping and not sleeping, or you can't sleep at all, or you sleep and the dreams are so vivid you feel like you didn't sleep at all. And then the 7th one, which is right on top of your head. So what I'm going to do is we're going to focus on the general, okay, this is a general kind of a high level overview of the feminine energy, how it flows into our personal energy system. So I'm going to call that our chakras, and then we feel it in our body. So the feminine energy, I'm just going to abbreviate here, or the feminine flow, feminine, or the feminine, more coffee. To give it a direction, it flows from beneath. So it flows from below up, and it enters our personal energy systems, right? So your chakras, right? Through the root chakra. And in the conversations group and some of the workshops that we do, we go into this in depth, both virtually and in person. So that's where it enters. This feminine energy flows, enters into your root chakra. And then in the sacral. Now the sacral is, as we talked about, right, your lower lumbar area. So if you just kind of draw a band, a horizontal band, that gives you a pretty good idea of the sacral chakra. Now this is really interesting because it's almost like a staging area, or kind of okay, all right. So in a way, you can think of it this way. I'm going to take a breath in Okay, where's that breath? The breath is in my lungs, right? Now I'm going to exhale. Right? So in a way, you can look at it as I breathe in feminine energy coming in through the root chakra into my lungs, which is the sacral chakra, which holds it. And then as I exhale, it's flowing up. So I'm inhaling, it's coming in through that root chakra. It resides in the sacral chakra, but it's not designed to stay there. It's designed to then flow up through the entirety of our energy systems. So the flow of the feminine flow, wow, is it enters into your personal energy system in your root chakra. It flows in. It's held in the sacral chakra to be released through the rest of your personal energy system, which is, of course, then you feel in your body as this energy is flowing. Let me just get rid of some of this stuff here. So that's like I said, a really general overview of how it flows. But what I want to talk about now, boy, throat chakra, interesting, is one of the common areas where it gets stuck. One of the characteristics of the feminine flow is it flows in waves. So in a way, and I often will teach and use my breath to help kind of initiate or deepen the flow. So as just as I showed you there, so I'm gonna use my breath, and I'm gonna show you on Mr. Flip Chart what's happening. So when I inhale, flowing, oops. So I inhale into the root, into the sacral, held in the sacral. On the exhale, flows up. So it's like a wave. In, and then release. In, and then release. So this area in our sacral chakra, that band, is designed to sort of temporarily hold it and then for it to be released. So it flows in and then be released, just like air, right? You draw air in, it's in your lungs temporarily, exhale, and it flows out. Same thing. Now, often, for a variety of reasons, I may touch on them briefly, it gets stuck. And guess where it gets stuck? Right in that sacral chakra. Now, okay, so this is going to be a big teachings in a little tiny nutshell. So this energy center, again, in your lower lumbar, each chakra has sort of a physical aspect to it and a non-physical, and we'll just go with that for now. So the physical aspect of your sacral chakra, again, if you just draw the band, that horizontal band, it gives you a really good idea of the general functions areas of our body. So with the sacral chakra, it's of course lower back, hips. I'll go through this pretty quickly. I call it the elimination process. So not so much elimination organs, but the process of elimination, and the sex organs. Right? So just draw the band, right? Now, the non-physical, this is where it's really interesting. I call it our material world. So not just money, but things, right? And sexual expression. So the expressing of that, and I'm going to even change that up a little bit, because that word often gets all sorts of crazy connotations to it. I'm going to do sensual expression. Now, what's the difference? As I said, that feminine energy, I call it sensual energy. You feel it, right? You can take that sensual energy and you can express it in a whole variety of ways. Now, that's the cool thing about this. Mr. Flip Chart, we're back. So you can use this feminine energy here, right? You can direct it almost for physical healing. You can direct it to, I don't know, just enhance that aspect of your physical body. You could also direct it into your material world, one of which is finances. This sensual energy and this reemergence of the sensual energy, we can now use that and express it in our external world as it relates to finances. Now, how trippy and cool is that? And the sensual expression, of course, the first thing that comes to people's heads is sexual expression. Yeah, you could do it that way, but you can also express it in a whole variety of other ways. It becomes that passion. It becomes that power. It becomes that vibrancy in everything that you do. See, that's the real cool thing about this, is this energy. We can express that sensually, if you will, in that passion and that power and that vibrancy and that vitality in everything that we do in life. See, that's what the nature of this energy is. The nature of this energy is about expressing and flowing and living and all those really, really cool things. This is one of the most common areas where the energy can get stagnant, because we have been, especially in our Western world, we have been taught that sense. Well, we don't know anything about it in so many respects, and what we do has been so skewed and stifled, and that expressing of that sensual energy, because we've equated sensual energy, sexual expression is the same thing, but you can express it in so many different ways. Healing in your own body, vibrancy in your own body, passion in everything that you do. But because that has been stifled and constrained and constricted, in many ways, it would be like, hold my breath. This air is really good, but not for forever, right? I can't hold it forever. It gets stale. It gets whatever. Or think of it as water, right? Water that is stagnant and sits, what happens to it, right? That's the same thing that happens with this. This energy is designed to flow and move. And these are just some of the reasons that I shared. It gets stuck here and can't move. And then when it can't move, it starts to manifest not as vibrancy and vitality, but now manifest as issues in all of this, including finances, by the way. Isn't that interesting? That's one of the things that we talk about quite a bit about in the Conversations Facebook group, and virtual and even in-person workshops that will be coming up shortly. Esther Hicks, who I follow quite a bit, I'm going to wrap up. Esther Hicks, who I follow quite a bit, she talks about manifesting, of course, and she says one of the downsides to the whole process is you have to feel good, right? I think that's the thing, is we've even taken feeling good, like that deep sensual, right? I feel like coffee. Oh, that coffee feels so good. Oh, right? We've taken that. We've decided that, first of all, you're not even supposed to experience it, and if you are, just a little bit, and you have to earn it, and on and on and on. So we've just messed this up really, really well for a variety of reasons. But what's happening is that feminine energy is now reemerging, and it's moving through, and it's pushing so many of those impurities, if you want to call it that stagnant energy out, which really fits well with the first part of the show, because this is the energy that creates. This is the energy that gives form to. And in this new city, if you just tuned in, I'm referring to the 777 topic, in this new city that we find ourselves in, the way that we navigate it isn't so much now this map that we go here and go here and go here. It's taking this energy and just kind of riding that flow and guiding it and exploring and discovering. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in so much. What I do afterwards is I clip the 2 segments and I post them as well, so you can just kind of jump to those if you wish. I also post them in the appropriate groups. So the 777 Club, Subscription Club, all about manifesting, all sorts of cool things happen there. DM me for information. Conversations we all want to have relates to convergence. We just finished talking about that. If you want to be part of that group, DM me as well. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the web.